Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp. This was directed by Peyton Reed and stars Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, Larry Fishburne and Walton Goggins. This is a story of Hope Van Dyne and Dr. Hank Pym. After Scott Lang had returned from the quantum realm in the first film, they have worked out a plan to try and return to the quantum realm and find the mother and wife respectively, who disappeared 30 years ago. They enlist the help of Scott Lang, who after the events of Captain America Civil War has been under house arrest for nearly 2 years by the FBI. He's with only a few days left of his sentence. He's looking forward to returning to normal day life and becoming the father that he believes he should be for his daughter. Scott is reluctant to get involved due to not wanting to jeopardize him becoming free from his house arrest, but he ends up helping them anyway. In order for their device to work to get to the quantum realm, they need a particular part, and they get this particular part through someone who can acquire these sort of materials. This is sort of a gangster played by Walton Goggins, and he is ultimately after their devices and their gadgets in order to sell them on the black market. Things don't go according to plan. There's introduction of a variety of new sort of characters, including Ghost, where she's a character that can phase in and out of reality, and it sort of looks at her story a little bit as well, and her requiring some stuff from the quantum realm as well in order to help her deal with her powers that she can't control. So what follows is a race against time, trying to get the materials they need to in order to go to the quantum realm. Everyone's after this lab that they have, and Hank is able to miniaturize this lab, so he can maneuver it around, and everyone keeps trying to steal it. It's really a race against time for all these characters to accomplish the things that they've set out to do, while Scott Lang trying to not get caught by the FBI and make it look like he's still at home and not helping them out in the way he is. This all leads to an interesting and fun altercation. I really liked this. I was impressed with it, and I didn't really think I was going to like it. I wasn't a big fan of the first one. I thought it was a bit silly. I hated the idea that he could go small and go big. I didn't really like Captain America Civil War either, and his performance in that kind of annoyed me. But there was something really special about this film, and I think it was refreshing. With all these superhero movies and comic book movies that we have so many of and are saturated by, this was sort of a refreshing one, and it gave me hope a little bit more in these movies once again, which I had lost in previous films. And I wasn't a huge fan of Infinity War. Not saying that this film's a better movie, but I enjoyed this film a lot better. I think this is a really well crafted and well acted and put together film. I was really impressed with what they were able to accomplish with this film. And I think what worked with this, that I liked more in this than I did the previous film, was they seemed to have got the humour right. They let Paul Rudd be Paul Rudd, and he was very, very funny in this and had great one-liners and very humorous moments. And I think they were able to, the jokes flowed a lot better in this film than they did in the first one. I don't know, I just didn't quite get into the first one. I didn't think there was a lot happening and a lot at stake. Where this film, it seems like there's a lot at stake. There's a lot happening for these characters. They're going on this journey together. They open up the world a bit more. They show a bit more of the characters and what's sort of going on, and the ability to shrink and enlarge things. You get to see Hank Pym and the sort of gadgets that he has and how he can accomplish making things bigger and small. Evangeline Lilly is really fantastic here as the Wasp, and I think it's really great to see her in this sort of role. I think she really suits these sort of roles. She's really good at playing strong and capable and sort of warrior characters. And she did the similar thing in The Hobbit, and I'm really impressed with her performance. She's very believable in this sort of role. And some people have said she steals a show. I completely believe she steals a show. I think it's fantastic. I like the idea that they're focusing more on her character and Hank Pym more than Scott Lang, and you get to see a bit more of their backstory, and it's really focused on them trying to find their mother and wife respectively. And I think it's really clever what they do to accomplish that. I think the action was really well shot in this, and there's some really great scenes that work really well. All the acting's very solid, and it's an interesting sort of world that I'd like to know more about. The quantum realm is an area of the film and an area that I would like to know even more about. Seems like a really fascinating and psychedelic sort of element to these sort of films and the world within that. And I'd like to see more based upon that. Paul Rudd's very funny and very capable in this sort of role, and it really suits him. It sort of suits him like Deadpool suits Ryan Reynolds. It's sort of an interesting thing. I'd love to actually see a movie with them two in it together. It'd be kind of interesting to see. Evangeline Lilly, like I said, gives a really great performance. She's a really solid actress, and I really like her. She hasn't been in a lot of movies in her career, but it's always interesting to see what role she does choose and to see her on screen. Michael Douglas, yet again, is fantastic in this. I think Hank Pym is really fantastic, and the way he plays it I really like. Walter Goggins it's always good to see Walter Goggins. I think he's a very talented actor who can do a variety of things, and Justified was really his breakout sort of role in that show. And here he's sort of solid, but he's sort of a bit of cookie cutter, simple, basic gangster sort of character that we've seen before. So there's nothing spectacular about the character. And really, if you look at it, he's not really fully needed in this sort of film either. He does serve a bit of a purpose, I guess, but I just felt they could have designed a better character for him to play. Larry Fishburne's in it, and he plays an old colleague of Hank Pym that had a falling out. And his involvement in the story and the film is quite interesting as well. Michael Pena, he's really great in it as well, and he's playing this sort of silly character like he did in the first one, but he sort of captured it very well, and he's still the same sort of character in this film, and even the sidekick sort of characters that are part of his team as well are quite clever. Visually it looks really great. I like the design of Ant-Man being big and being small, and there's a really, really great car chase in that because they can shrink cars and make them bigger, and it's fantastic to watch, and it's really enjoyment and thrill of the film. And I just feel this film has a lot of momentum and has a lot of heart. It's trying to tell an interesting story from a different perspective, and I think this is what's a good thing about if you're going to do a sequel, look at it from a different angle. Don't just do a sequel with the same character. And yes, Paul Rudd's character Scott Lang takes a sort of a back seat here, but it's really not completely about him. He's come into this world and it's he's part of their story rather than them being part of his story like in the first film. I'd like to see more of this sort of character in this world. I'd love to see another sort of film, and I'd like to see there's a post-credit scene where they should have tie in them into Infinity War, and I'd like to see what part he plays within that film as well. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the first one, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. There's really not any negatives or criticism I have about this film. I sort of went on the journey with it this time, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I went in with low expectation, was very surprised by what I saw, and I thought it was refreshing and fun. And ultimately, it's a fun movie. That's what you're going for. It's entertaining, it's fun, it's funny. It's not as full on and as dramatic as a lot of the other Marvel movies that have come out. Obviously, it's sort of more in the realm of Deadpool in a way. Not that it's making fun of itself and on the nose or breaking the fourth wall, but just the fact that it's sort of having fun. It's not taking itself too serious, and it's having an enjoying film that audiences can get involved in. And I was really impressed with what I saw. Look, final verdict. I think if you like the first Ant-Man, you may enjoy this. If you weren't a big, huge fan of the first Ant-Man, I would still go and see this because I think it is a better film in many ways. And you might get a lot more out of this than you did the first film. If you want a fun, entertaining journey and film, this is definitely for you. It's just fun, and that's what it sets out to be. And it accomplishes what it sets out to be, which I think is a really fantastic thing. And that's what you want from a lot of these sort of films. And it's sort of more in the realm of the fun comic book movie, that we've always enjoyed. And I think it does a really great job in what it's able to accomplish here. Look, I'm going to give this film 4 out of 5. I was really impressed with it. I went in with low expectations and was surprised by what I saw. It was fun, entertaining, and fresh, and it is an interesting character and storyline within the comic book world, in the Marvel comic book world. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've heard here, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.